Hello and welcome to the All Rookie Podcast. Today is May 2nd, 2023, and I'm your host, William Harris, aka William is Bill. Great to be back with you today on another great episode of the All Rookie Podcast. Big day today. I'm debuting my big board. So today's episode, I'm going to be doing 1 through 15. Next episode will be 16 through 30. Big board is different from the mock draft because the big board is my rankings of players talented 1 through 60, which I will eventually go to. 60 players are drafted. Last year and this year is going to be 58, though, because two teams have forfeited their pick. But basically, starting off with the first round worth of guys, it'll be 1 through 15 this episode, 16 through 30 the next episode. Not a mock. My rankings of talented in order from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You know what I mean? Not slotting where I think guys will go, just talented 1 through 15. And I think you'll be very intrigued by my list. My list is going to be different than just about every other list you've ever seen. It's going to be missing some guys that are routinely in guys' top 10. Some of my top 5 are going to shock you. So let's get straight to it like it's nothing to it. Starting with picks 15 through 11. If you're on YouTube, you can see them right now. But for now, I just want to say the theme of this draft is size. I'll tell you that right now. Just about every prospect in this draft seems like it's 6'6" to 6'10". You know, it got to a point where I'm scouting and I'm seeing guys that are 6'6", and I'm like, they're on the smaller side, you know. But then I have to realize, wait a minute, no, they're not. This class is just ridiculous. It has to be setting a record for the tallest players ever drafted. I mean, normally when you think of centers, you're thinking of 6'10", 6'11" guys. But I mean, this draft is full of 6'8", 6'9" guards. It's insane. But let's get straight to it. Like I said, number 15, we're going to start off with Jordan Hawkins, the 6'5" guard. I guess he's short, right? He 195 pounds, won the championship this year. Averaged 16 points, 4 boards, 0.7 steals, 0.5 blocks, shot 39% from 3, which is amazing, and 41% from the field. He's a sophomore. But Jordan Hawkins is a lights out shooter, 3-pointers especially, but all around, he's just a great shooter. All he needs is an inch of space to get his shot off. That is key for the NBA. And I mean, he has that inch, he'll launch it. He's an incredible cutter. That's when you think of him, you're going to think of cutter. Rip Hamilton, Reggie Miller. This is the type of game he clearly has patterned his game after. He has a great shooting form, super quick release. Like I said, when he's dribbling on ball, he doesn't create much space. That's probably the only knock on him, but that's not that important in the NBA because he's not going to be like the superstar for your team. He's going to be the guy that they need to run those screens, get the open three, and that's a vital role in the NBA. You know, he has a quick release like Steph Curry at times, you know. So I think he'll be a lights out shooting guard in the NBA. It wouldn't surprise me if he's a starter very early on in his career at shooting guard because every team needs shooting. So Jordan Hawkins, number 15. Number 14, I have Jalen Hood-Schifino, the 6'6" point guard from Indiana. I don't know if he'll play point or the 2 in the NBA. We will see. But if he's point, that's even better. But he averaged 13.5 points, 4 boards, 4 assists, 0.8 steals, 33% from 3, 42% from the field. He has a really nice handle, and you know he has the size at 6'6". He can play the 1 or the 2, very soft touch, especially in the paint with his floaters and layups. Very smooth player, great shot form. He's a good pull-up and spot-up shooter, tough shot maker, and of course he has great elevation on his shot. Great pick-and-roll player. Can create his own shot and normally blow by and pull up with the J. So he can stop on a dime and he can hit the 3, you know, 33% from 3. That needs to improve, but he's shown that he can shoot it. I think his touch is good. I think it will translate to the NBA, and you may have to turn that mid-range game into more attacks to the rim because he likes the mid-range day a lot, and the NBA hates that. But I think he'll be fine. He's not a great leaper, not super athletic, but very crafty, very pro-like type of player. He plays at his own good pace. He's a great passer on the move, finds the open cutters. And I mean, like I said, he's a great ball handler. If he's going to be a point guard, look out. If he's going to be a shooting guard, he's still going to be real good. He had a 35-point game for Indiana this year. Jalen Hood-Schifino, number 14. Number 13, Noah Clowney. Most people have him ranked, I've seen, around 30. I think they're wrong. Okay. Noah Clowney, number 13 from Alabama, the power forward. He's only 18 years old, 6'10", averaged 10 points, 8 boards, and 1 block per game. 48% from the field, 28% from three. But he only played 25 minutes per game. So if you translate that, college games are 40 minutes. If he's playing 30, 33 minutes per game, those stats are even better. So a lot of college guys, sometimes they'll have lower numbers and they end up having a better year in the NBA than they do in college. It's because the minutes are up and they have more talent with them and they can do more. But Noah Clowney is a stretch big that can shoot the spot up three very well, especially for someone his size. And by size, I mean height, because he's not big, he's just tall. But he's a really good defensive presence, a great rim runner. He runs the floor well in transition or on defense. He's a modern day 4, in my opinion, maybe 5, with the Evan Mobley body type and potentially game. He plays the pick and roll well. He's a great tracker of the ball on defense. He really always finds the ball and is in great position to help his team defense. I think he shoots too many threes right now. Would love to see him in a post a little more often. But I think that will be coached into him. I remember saying when Evan Mobley was coming out, he reminded me of Chris Bosh when he was in his prime. Noah Clowney kind of reminds me of Chris Bosh when he was in Miami. More perimeter oriented, played great defense, just not an offensive juggernaut. So being 18, Noah Clowney is so much room for potential there. He can gain more weight, can get better at creating his own offense, and that's going to come with NBA coaching. You would be a fool to not love to have Noah Clowney on your team because he could be special. Number 12, Keyonte George, a name you probably have heard a lot about in this draft class. He's pretty much consensus lottery pick. He should be at least. But Keyonte George from Baylor, shooting guard, 15 points, 4 boards, 3 assists, 1 steal per game. Shot 34% from 3. He's 6'4". And in my opinion, he's a straight baller. When I was scouting some of these guys, he popped on the screen. A lot of guys were like, is this it? This it? Then you turn on Keyonte George and it's like, boom, wow. He can pull up from anywhere, hit the three, has a ridiculous handle, super quick acceleration and twitch moves to cross over and get where he wants with the ball. Great athleticism, great shot making ability and traffic or wide open. I think he could be special. He can hit the NBA step back 3 off the dribble in traffic and everything. He makes acrobatic shots. He plays like a veteran. He's not raw at all. And I think he has star potential. And he's even good when double teams. And he can either steal score or find the open man. And he's a good defender as well. You don't see that much from guards, but he can clamp up his man for sure. He gives great effort. And his speed allows him to stay with his man and recover and get blocks. And that speed, of course, works well for him on offense to get where he needs to be. Keyonte George, number 12. He's number 12 right now. I could be moving him up. I'm a fan of his game. If you like Jaden Hardy, he's easily Jaden Hardy. Will he be better? I don't know. Will he be equal? I don't know. Will it be less than? I don't know. But he reminds me slightly of Jaden Hardy. And Jaden Hardy had some breakout games last year. So Keyonte George, he's in that vein. Just put it like that. And remember, this is my big board as of May 2nd. So there's time for change. Things may move around a little bit, but I don't see this top 15 changing that much. Number 11, Leonard Miller from the G League Ignite, 6'10", 210 pounds. He averaged 17 points, 10 boards, 1 steal, almost a block per game. Shot 54% from the field and 30% from 3. Only 19 years old. He could have came out last year. And I'll tell you this right now. you'll see by my scouting, I am not biased. Leonard Miller last year, I scouted him. He basically was coming kind of out of high school. All the tape you had to look at was high school, just like Shaedon Sharpe. And his tape had me thinking he will go undrafted if he enters this draft. He did not enter the draft. He went to the G League Ignite, and that was the best decision he ever made, in my opinion. Now he's top 11, and he's not a guy I'm like super high on. I have to have him in the top 11. I had him undrafted last year. So Leonard Miller has great size. He can play in the post, shoot the ball well, drive to the rack, get his own shot. And I mean, that's all you can ask for. He was not ready, like I said, at all last year. But that shows you how hard he works to go from undrafted to a lottery pick, in my opinion. That's tremendous work ethic and a want to. He could have rested on his laurels. He could have been drafted last year and taken as a project, but he came back, got better, worked on this game. That's what I love to see. He's very athletic, great dunker, plays aggressive in traffic. I love how he can bring the ball up and create offense. He has a great jab step to get the defender on his heels, and then he determines where he wants to go off of that. He will pull up at the foul line or take it to the rack. His shot form is kind of like a push shot form, but he's still pretty good at it, especially at the 3-point range. That's something that a 6'10" guy is not supposed to be great at. So if you see the potential, that's all you can ask for. No, the rotation. He's 30%. That's really good. Some guards don't shoot 30%. But he can run the offense like a point guard at times, distribute the ball where it needs to be, or find an open man. And this is Leonard Miller again, good help defender and chase down blocker. There's things he needs to improve, of course. He was not draftable last year, but I've said this many times already. It just impressed me how much he improved. And I mean, he could be one of the better players in this class. Let's just say it like that. I'm gonna leave it at that for now. I'm gonna do a breakdown on Leonard Miller and go more in depth, but I'm a fan. All right, that was 15 through 11. Jordan Hawkins, Jalen Hood-Schifino at 14, Noah Clowney 13, Keontae George 12, Leonard Miller at 11. Are you shocked? Well, let's keep going. If your mind is blown by those 5, let's go to the next 5. Number 10, Jett Howard, the Michigan man who averaged 14 points, 3 boards, 2 assists. He's 6'8", shot 37% from 3, 50% from 2. In my opinion, he looks like Melo out there, not LaMelo, Carmelo Anthony. He has star potential, has a great handle, can shake his defender, can pull up and hit the J or drive by his man and get to the rack. Great spot up 3-point shooter. He moves well, gets to his spot, can hit the fadeaway. I mean, he can do anything on offense you want. If there's a knock, I just want to see him shoot the ball more. I mean, he is nice with it. He can do anything, like I said. And I mean, really, he looks like Carmelo Anthony in college a little bit out there. And so if he's unleashed and given the keys, look out. I say his floor is probably Eric Gordon at worst. If he has to fill a role, if he goes into a great team or a great situation. A lot of teams, a lot of mocks I've seen had him at 20 or so. I have him at 10. So if you go at 20, he may not be able to play that Melo role. If he goes at 10, there's a chance he would be able to. We will see. A lot of teams use players wrong, but he has it in him. He is not super athletic, but neither was Melo. He was 215 pounds, but on film, to me, he looks bigger than 215 pounds, which is good for posting up and being in the paint, but bad for the perimeter. You got to keep up with those guys that are, 6'7", 6'8", and they move a little faster. So he could have trouble going by his man in the NBA without elite speed, but I trust his handle and his shot, so I think he will be really good. That's Jett Howard I'm talking about. And, Melo, like I said, again, Melo was not fast. He didn't have issues. Luka's not fast, didn't have issues. So I think Jett Howard should really call Carmelo Anthony, work with him, pick his brain. I think he could be really, really good. Number 10, Jett Howard. Number 9, Grady Dick from Kansas, averaged 14 points, 5 boards, 2 assists, 1.4 steals, shot 40% from 3. And coming into this draft season, I heard a lot about Grady Dick. It's like, he's a great shooter. He's a great shooter. Grady Dick, possibly one of the best shooters in this class. And so that's all you hear, shooter, 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 shooter. When you look at the tape, that is not what you see. You see an incredible athlete that can do everything. He has speed, athleticism, great size. Like I say, he's 6'8". He's a tremendous shooter. They were right about that. On top of that, but he has a very quick release on his shot, quick jab step, quick and a step back 3. High release on his shot as well, being 6'8", but he gets it up there. So that makes it hard to block. He's an alley-oop threat. That's something that I would not have expected. But the man can fly. He can take it to the rack and drive right or left. He's a great cutter, always getting open, dunks with authority, and he's a smart cutter as well. He knows how to get a shot in tough situations. He can hit the fadeaway, the floater, has a nice use of pump fakes to get open or find the open man, can handle the ball very well. It just really impressed me with his tape. The only question I have on Grady Dick is, will he be used in the NBA like he was used at Kansas? Because a lot of times you have, there's an elephant in the room. Grady Dick is white, a white American. A lot of times white American basketball players are used as shooters only. They are not allowed to really show their athleticism in all-around game, and that is evident with Corey Kispert. Corey Kispert was labeled as shooter, great shot. He could shoot the ball, amazing, best shooter in the draft. Corey Kispert was incredible in college. Athletic, running around doing plays, running the offense, all that. He gets to the Wizards, he's bottled down. He's not allowed to do that. They use him as a shooter. Will they do Grady Dick the same way? I don't know. All I can tell you is his tape in Kansas, he can do so much more. I hope they use him like they did in Kansas because, if they use him to his full capabilities, he can be really good. I'm glad that he's 6'8". If he was not 6'8", if he was 6'4", 6'5", it would be more of a worry that they would just use him as a stand in the corner, shoot the 3 guy, which he can do, but he's so much more than that. So Grady Dick is number 9 on my list. And, it's funny to me. I listened to some pods talking about Grady Dick months ago. And it's almost like they're laughing at him and his game. And I have no clue why. This is a serious prospect, serious player. He's not just some white boy out here shooting threes. And, I'm not trying to be offensive, but that's how people seem to be treating him. And this is white podcasters and black podcasters, you know what I mean? So I'm like, coming into the film, I'm expecting Kyle Korver or something. That is not Grady Dick at all. He is a baller, and he is well worth a top 10 pick. People laughing at him as a top 10 pick, they need to check themselves. You know what I'm saying? So number 8, Bryce Sensabaugh, the 6'6" forward guard from Ohio State. A lot of people have him going in the mid-20s. I have him number 8. I do not follow consensus. I follow what I see. I see Bryce Sensabaugh as a baller. He averaged 16 points, 5.5 boards, 1 assist, 0.5 steals, 0.4 blocks, shot 48% from the field and 40.5% from 3. That's right. Now, I said Grady Dick was 40%. Bryce Sensabaugh is 40.5% from 3. That's not saying he's better. That's just saying that's how close they are. And Bryce Sensabaugh is just getting top crap upon all off season. I'm seeing him 28th somewhere, 19th, 20th somewhere. I'm like, have you seen this game? Watching the film, he instantly, in my mind, was one of the top 10 players in this draft. Very natural basketball player, has all the moves, great shooter, plays with finesse, but also a rough aggression when he's going to the paint. He's a pro. You can see it in his film. Great jab step, gets where he wants to go, can create his own shot, great power when attacking the rim, great court vision and awareness. I think he may rely on the fadeaway a bit too much at times, but it works. It's not an issue right now. It can be coached. He can be coached to do anything, because his touch is so incredible. He doesn't create a lot of space That's his only issue. And I think that could be because he is 235 pounds. A lot of these guards and 6'6", 6'7" guys, especially this young, are around 210, 215. So if he loses 10, 15, 20 pounds, I think that will help him create more space. I think it'll help him be a better defender. He's a good help defender, very good defender in the paint. But you got to think, when you go to the NBA, everyone's a little bit faster. Everything's a step faster. You're going to need to be a step faster on offense, step faster on defense. Losing a few pounds will help him out if he needs to. That weight, being 235, could be a positive also. So we'll see where he goes. They want him to keep it or not. But he's got wiggle room to go either way they need him to go. You know, he could be Carmelo type small forward that can use his body, or he can lose some little bit of weight and still be right there with the smaller, faster guards. But I think Bryce Sensabaugh is for sure a top 10 prospect in this draft, and I love his game. Look out, look out. You know, I'm blowing everyone's mind right now. But now we're at number 7, Cam Whitmore, the forward from Villanova, 12.5 points, 5 boards, 1.4 steals, shot 35% from 3. He's 6'7", like if I didn't say that. But he has a perfect size and weight and athletic ability for what the NBA is looking for. He can drive to the rack, play in the paint, shoot the 3, handle the ball all really well. Sometimes he finishes kind of clunky at the rim, and sometimes he needs to go up harder at the rim. But he has a good handle, can hit the step back 3, or just a 3 off the dribble, or just a spot up 3. He can do all that. He's not really confident finishing with his left. That's something I pay attention to just as a person that play basketball. When you see a guy going up on the left side of the rim and they use their right hand, you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to use your left hand. A lot of guys don't trust their left hand. Sometimes he does that. That just annoys me. Sometimes it sticks out of my brain. But that's not going to be an issue or anything. But Cam Whitmore is number 7 on my list because I think defensively he can guard multiple positions, stay with smaller guards and big body forwards. Has a quick first dribble to get where he wants to go. And, you know, he doesn't really free himself to get open. But when he gets in the lane, normally good things happen. I think he's a solid, safe prospect. I don't think he's going to be a star or anything like that, but he's a solid, safe prospect, and he can get better. So we'll see what happens. Number 6, one of the biggest shocks so far. Number 6, Dariq Whitehead. He's been mocked, I've seen, in the late 20s, and I think these people are insane. Dariq Whitehead is incredible. The 6'7" guard forward from Duke. See, this is what happened. I watched the film first. I was like, he's incredible. How is he in the 20s and stuff? And then I looked up his stats, and I'm like, okay, there might be something here. He averaged 8 points, 2.5 boards, and almost 1 steal per game. I'm like, wait a minute, this doesn't add up because the skill, the talent, everything is there. Why did he only average 8 points per game? So I had to look that up, and I saw that his low scoring was due to an injury-riddled season. And, you know, he played low minutes, 16 minutes per game, and that was off the bench. So when I saw that, I said, okay, that makes sense. Now I'm not worried. You know, he had a stress fracture in his foot and had a sprained ankle shortly after that. So I don't think he fully got to show everything he can do. If he comes into the NBA 100% healthy, I mean, whew, he's going to be in the lottery. There's no way he should not be a lottery pick, in my opinion. For sure, top 10, I have him number 6, Dariq Whitehead. He has a 6'10" wingspan, moves like a pro, much different than guys his age and his body type in this draft class. You know, like I mentioned earlier, Sensabaugh was 235. A lot of guys are 200, 195, 205. He's a bigger body as well, but 220 is what you want to be, not necessarily 235 at this height. So, when you look at his tape, you instantly see a pro with star talent. Great shooter with the stroke to show for it as well. His form is pure. Quick twitch movement with or without the ball. Uses that to get open or shake his defender. I truly think his offensive game is perfection. I don't have anything to say negatively about it. He's seriously a jaw-dropping player. His skills are unmatched in his class. He can hit the Euro step, pull up off the dribble, create his own shot, score in traffic. I mean, he's just ridiculous. One of the most fun players to watch in this draft class. It's just great to see a baller. You know, he's not just a guy with the right size, the right body type, the right potential, or something that's just raw. He is the total package. He's a baller. He's ready to play in the league right now. You would think he's a senior or a junior, but he's a freshman. Dariq Whitehead we're talking about. And, 19 years old. His ceiling is through the roof, as Michael Jordan would say. I just want to see him play fully healthy, score more, rebound more, assist more, obviously. Coaching, the right environment, everything should translate offensively and defensively into the NBA, in my opinion. Dariq Whitehead is number 6 right now. I might move him up. I mean, he's not going down. He might go up, but he's number 6 on my board. Have I blown your mind? Let's go through those 10 through 6 one more time. Jett Howard, Grady Dick at 9, Bryce Sensabaugh at 8, Cam Whitmore at 7, Dariq Whitehead at 6. I'm going to go over 15 to 6 real quick, just in case you forgot something. Jordan Hawkins at 15, Jalen Hood-Schifino at 14, Noah Clowney 13, Keyonte George 12, Leonard Miller 11. Then it continues. Jett Howard, Grady Dick, Bryce Sensabaugh, Cam Whitmore, Dariq Whitehead at number 6. Now for the drum roll. Top 5. You already saw my pod or heard my pod potentially with my top 5, but I didn't give you an order, and it was not in order if you were trying to put together pieces. This is the official order right now. Number 5, we are going to go with Taylor Hendricks, the 6'9" forward from UCF, averaged 15 points, 7 boards, and 1 steal per game with almost 2 blocks per game. Shot 39% from 3. Incredible. 48% from the field, and he's 19 years old. Taylor Hendricks is a tall, long, rangy athlete that can score in a variety of ways, create his own shot, do everything to where he can be limitless. He's a prospect that's future goals, skills, talent. It's just limitless. He needs to go to the right team, and he can truly be special. I went over this for the most part in my top 5 episode, but impressive shot blocker, nice floater. When you have a 6'9" man that can shoot almost 40% from 3 and he's athletic, what else do you need to say? And I mean, he can play great defense as well. Taylor Hendricks, UCF. Look him up. Number 5 on the list. Number 4, we have Brandon Miller. You've seen him on some boards as number 2. Some as number 3. On mine, he's number 4. Brandon Miller, Alabama, 6'9" forward, 200 pounds, averaged 19 points, 8 boards, 2 assists, 1 steal, 1 block. Shot 38% from 3. 20 years old, has a 6'11" wingspan. He has great size, sneaky athleticism, great shooting ability. Weird form, like I said in the last episode, but it goes in. He can play multiple ways, quickly or methodically. Great handle for someone his size. I've said it before. He doesn't look like a 6'9" guy out there. He looks like a 6'6" guard or forward. I love his game. I think he can be an elite scorer in the NBA. He has a total package. I think there's really no flaws in his game. I didn't love his game. I don't love his tape. I don't love his game. But it's clear he's a top 5 talent in this draft. But, like a guy like Dariq Whitehead is more fun to watch, in my opinion. But Brandon Miller, I have to have him at 4 for now. We'll see if that changes. But Brandon Miller from Alabama, number 4. Now, number 3, the biggest shock possibly to all of you guys, because he's not number 1, because he's not number 2. I have number 3, Victor Wembanyama. Yes, you heard that right. And it basically comes down to, he's a 7'5" big man from France, 19 years old, averaged 21 points, 10 boards, and 3 blocks per game. 30% from three. He has the 8-foot wingspan. But it comes down to me thinking, will his game translate to the NBA? That's the biggest question. I don't have that question with number one. I don't have that question with number two. I have that question for Victor Wembanyama. He's super long and rangy, of course. He can guard in the paint or the perimeter, of course. He has an 8-foot wingspan, so of course he can. He gets beat to the rim at times, but he can recover with that long wingspan. But he's too thin right now. He, like I've said this before, he's similar weight to Scoot Henderson, and he's like 13 inches taller than Scoot Henderson, but he's only weighs like 5 pounds more than him. But everyone knows that him and Chet Holmgren, they have to get more weight on him. But he moves really well for someone his size, but if he's gonna play a guard or forward in the NBA, that's just not gonna work. He's not fast enough. He doesn't dribble fast enough. The ball is too high. But what he can do is great as well. It's too good of a thing to pass up, but it's still highly questionable. He easily could be a bust. I'm not saying he will be, but he has the highest bust potential. You know what I mean? And that busting could be not translating with this game, or it could be injury. That's something not a lot of people are worried about. I'm worried about it. When you're that tall, that doesn't normally work out that well, running and jumping up and down the court in the NBA. It's an 82-game season. This is not a 30-game season. It's not a 20-game season. This is an 82-game season. Guys like Bol, for instance, play limited minutes. And before he was playing limited minutes, where he showed out this year, he was injured for 2 years. Chet, before he even stepped on a real regular season game, it may have been a fluke injury, it may not. Injured, missed the whole year. So it's just something that you have to worry about. But not only that, it's just, I wonder if his game will translate. It's a 7'4" guy out there, crossing over, pulling up from three. Against, if you look at his competition was clearly not elite. I've seen him doing some of those incredible moves. A lot of people are watching the incredible moves. You're not looking at the defender. I'm looking at guys that are like 6 feet tall trying to stop him sometimes, So there are a lot of concerns in my opinion, but he's too good to let him drop past three. But I have him at 3, and it's not necessarily the biggest knock on him. I'm just that much more confident in the guys 1 and 2. Because you see a lot of highlights of him shooting threes and step backs, but that percentage is not 40%. It's 29%. He takes a lot of bad shots. Sometimes he makes them, sometimes he doesn't. But it looks good on a highlight, but it's not realistic in the NBA. He has a good crossover, but like I said, he's not handling the ball like that in the NBA. It's too slow. And even in French, in his international play, he's not really shaking anybody with that dribble. He shoots a lot of contested fadeaway jumpers, mainly because he can't create that space. He'll back down a guy, but not really get anywhere. And then turn around and shoot the fadeaway, and it's the oohs and ahs of it. But he should be backing down that defender further and further and further and scoring easier shots. And so if that's difficult internationally, it's going to be extremely difficult in America. Those are just serious concerns that I have about his game. I have him going number 3. Now, when I do my mock draft, you may see him number 1 or number 2, because you have to, like, if the Hornets get the number 1 pick, they don't need Scoot Henderson. They would take Victor Wembanyama. But as far as talent and a sure thing and a star, it's questionable for me. I can see where it can work, but I also can see where it can't work. And I think that's a lot of people's issue right now. They're only looking at the positive. When you say can't miss prospect, that's what I hear a lot with Victor Wembanyama. Can't miss prospect. I think you are doing a disservice to people that are listening to your show because he is not a can't miss prospect. You have not seen a 7'5" guard ever. I can't even finish that sentence with be successful, do this, do that. You have not seen it ever. Bobo is the closest thing. And, you know, he's not, Bobo is good, but he plays limited minutes. He does not start. He's been hurt. I'm not saying he's Bobo. Bobo does do some things like Victor Wembanyama, though. But that's why he's number 3. I'm explaining because I know I'm going to get some backlash. But, you know, hit me in the comments. Am I crazy? I don't care. I got to go by what I feel. I'm not a person that looks at other mock drafts and says, I got to put him here, got to put him here. As you can see from this list so far already, there's no bias in me. I just go by what the film shows me. And with that being said, number 2, I'm going with Amen Thompson, the point guard from Overtime Elite. He averaged 16 points, 6 boards, 6 assists, 2 steals per game. He is 6'7". He has a 6'9" wingspan, 20 years old. Dynamic point guard. His tape, he just jumps off the page when you see his tape. Super quick first step, burst of speed when getting to the rim or in the lane. Comes across as a street baller because the way he plays is flashy crossover, but he can definitely lead a team and make all the plays needed in the NBA. Incredible passer. No matter where he is, he can get to the lane, draw defenders. He can still score or make the pass, makes the right pass, moves his feet well. Pickpocket on defense, incredible defender. He can be an all-star. He can be an all-defensive player. And you don't see that all the time. I mean, that clearly it's super rare. You know, we've seen a 6'7" point guard flourish already. Josh Giddey. Watching Josh Giddey's tape, I was not impressed at all. He's way better than Josh Giddey coming into the NBA. Can do way more than Josh Giddey coming into the NBA. And Josh Giddey has turned out to be really, really good. So I think that could lead Amen Thompson to an elite level basketball player. He has to get his shot better. But once again, Josh Giddey doesn't have a great shot, and he's still helping turn OKC into a good team. So Amen Thompson, being an all-around better player, still needing to improve that shooting, I'm not worried at all. Incredible young guard, Amen Thompson. Super impressive young guard. And number 1, if you did not know by now, Scoot Henderson from the G League Ignite, 6'2" guard, 195 pounds, averaged 16.5 points, 4 boards, 6.5 assists, 1 steal, and a half block per game. Shot 46% from 2, 28% from 3. That's the knock. But he has a 6'9" wingspan. That's crazy. He's 6'2" and has a 6'9" wingspan. That is a positive thing that NBA talents and scouters look for specifically. They want that. If you are on the smaller side and you have a bigger wingspan, they're not worried. Like Donovan Mitchell is 6'1", but he has like a 6'9" wingspan. So his height has never really been an issue. So Scoot is in that boat where his wingspan helps him out, where he may be lacking in size. But Scoot is an exciting, electric player. Quick hands for steals, very fast and athletic, super quick first step, very clutch. His dribble is ridiculous. Very strong guard. He can finish in traffic, has incredible leaping ability. He has an NBA body already. You know, he has great vision, makes incredible passes, can shoot the fadeaway. I mean, his offensive game is just all there except for his shot. He has to perfect that. And his shot is not broken. He just has to get a little bit better at it. And, you know, he's not a score first point guard. He can truly run a team. You can tell he loves finding the open man. But, you know, he also can win you a game. He's clutch. You know, he's won games for the G League Ignite. And it's clear in games he's shown that he was trying to get his other guys going and potentially drafted the way he played at times. So I love his game. He's that dude. He has a quote of saying, I should go number 1. I know I'm going number 1. You know, and I have to agree with you, Scoot. I have you as the #1 prospect in this draft. And an elite point guard is not the easiest thing to come by. A lot of teams need them. And once you get an elite point guard, they can be with your franchise for 10 plus years and you're set at that position. So that's my top 5. Taylor Hendricks at 5, Brandon Miller at 4, Victor Wembanyama at 3, Amen Thompson at 2, and Scoot Henderson at #1. I can't wait to hear what you guys have to say. Victor Wembanyama is the definition of a lottery pick because he's a lottery ticket. You may win, you may not win. It might make you a millionaire. It may make you scratch your head like, why did I buy all those lottery tickets? We will see. But thank you all. This was a fun 1 through 15. I'll come back with the 16 through 30. I know there's a lot of guys you're like, wait, he left this guy off. He left this guy off. I didn't leave anybody off. This is my top 15. You're going to hear some guys on the next episode that you're expecting to hear in this one. And I'll explain why they are where they are. Thank you all so much for listening. Subscribe to the All Rookie Podcast. Until next time, I'm out of here. Peace.